So welcome to the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce Quick Takes Legislator Live video series. My name is Matt Murphy, the Government Regional Affairs Director for the Chamber. In this series, we're going to share quick visits with our local legislators. We want to know what's going on, what the hot topics are, and what in general is happening in Olympia. I want to thank the Tire Factory and MacKay Sposito for sponsoring this series as policy engagement partners. Today, we're joined by Senator Perry Dozier from the 16th Legislative District. Hello and welcome, Senator Dozier.
Good morning, Matt. Thank you very much for this opportunity to visit with you in the Tri-Cities Regional Chamber.
Yeah, so Senator Dozier, you guys are kind of wrapping up the first half of the session. Everything needs to be out of the House of Origin by next Friday. I've watched some of the floor votes, and there really seems to be a whirlwind of activities. But I want to take a second and talk about what happens before a bill gets to the floor. I've asked other legislators about some of the other different steps, but I wanted to ask you about Ways and Means. When a bill goes through the Ways and Means Committee, what does that mean? And is it the same as like the House Appropriations Committee?
Yeah, Matt, it definitely is the same as the House Appropriations. The Ways and Means Committee, we're just titled different than the House's Appropriations, but we're responsible for all of the bills that come through us, are responsible for all of the budget implications within our state here. So we may be in our committees and we'll be listening, our policy committees, we'll be listening to bills, and there'll be a fiscal note attached to it that will say what it costs. So when that bill makes it out of our policy committee, then it comes to Ways and Means. And the Ways and Means Committee is made up of 24 senators, ours is, which the balance is 15 Democrats and 9 Republicans. And so we will listen to those bills again. We'll receive testimony on the bills, excuse me, and then they will we'll have discussions on it and see how it impacts the budget before it's moved out of Ways and Means. And then that's the next step. So basically, all of these bills have to come attached with a cost. And Office of Fiscal Management then reviews them, makes sure that they're all probably correct where they need to be. Now, any bill that is under 50,000, how it affects the budget, will move directly to rules. Anything over 50,000 has to go through the hearing process.
Okay, so you listen to bills that have fiscal notes and fiscal implications, but where does that fit into the budget process? Does it fit into the budget process, or you just look at the bills and take a look at them that way?
It truly does. So basically, the Senate Ways and Means Committee considers all these issues related to the operating budget. A lot of them go into the operating budget. Also, I'm a member of the capital budget, which is a totally different budget that we work with. And then we also have authorization for state debt, tax policy, pension policy, which we vote on, and of course the bills that have the huge fiscal impact. Now, the Operating Budget Committee is kind of a spinoff from the Ways and Means. So as these bills come through, then the Operating Budget Committee works with how they're going to craft that into basically our state budget.
Okay. So when you look at it, do you guys ask yourself the question, is this worth it? Should we pass this on because it's worth it? Or do you ask yourself, how are we going to pay for this?
Absolutely. I think we saw a good example of that this year where one of Governor Ferguson's main requests was free lunch for all. But basically what we were getting from the education side, our school districts, we have 3 huge issues that we need. We need funding for MSOC, which is material, supplies, and operating costs. We need funding for special ed, and we need funding for transportation. So the one bill that was presented to have free lunch for all, the price tag was so high, it couldn't be worked into the current budget. So it basically died and never made it beyond there, with the focus being here. So you look at where you're at on this budget, and bills will die because of the fiscal note.
Okay, sure. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I know that these are probably basic questions for you guys, or at least
Mhm.
you've spent enough years that you figured out the answer to these questions. We're all still trying to figure these out. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate that because I know that, today's calendar, there's some 70 on there. And I think there's between the House and the Senate, there's probably about 400 bills still left in rules waiting to figure out they're going to make it. So I know that you've got to get back to the floor and you guys have had it pretty easy. You've been getting done mid-afternoon now. Won't be long until you'll be burning the midnight oil, I'm sure. Um,
Yeah, we've got actually only 3 days next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We have to wrap up all of this by Wednesday. So if the bill passes out of Ways and Means, it passes on to Rules and it sits in Rules to be pulled to the floor for discussion. So
okay.
we're getting down to, yeah, the midpoint here to where everything's got to get done. All of our Senate bills have to be done by Wednesday, and then they'll go over to the other chamber. We'll start listening to the House's bills.
Right. So you'll work through the weekend then, I'm sure, right?
It's interesting. We are scheduled for Saturday. Yes, right now. We aren't scheduled for Sunday, but we are scheduled for tomorrow, Saturday. And we'll see what today brings. Maybe we can thump through a few bills, but we know these last few days is when we're going to get to the more difficult bills that are going to take a lot more time to discuss. And we may spend 2 hours on one bill.
Right. Okay. Well, again, I appreciate your time, and I want to thank you for everything that you do for Washington State and for the 16th Legislative District. And good luck in the next few bits here. And I think you got like, what, 50 days left of the session or something like that.
Yeah, we
So,
got just about 50 days. April 27th, we've got to have it wrapped up.
yep, hopefully no special sessions.
No kidding.
All right. Thank you, sir. And you have a great day.
Okay, thank you very much, Matt, and thank you everybody in the Tri-Cities area. Bye-bye.
Bye.